Hey, Bobby Buck Promotions.
Yeah, y'all. It's a new day, y'all. Yeah. We got some business to take care of. Lots of business. The people are dying every day, shedding tears every way. Oh my God, I feel their pain. Oh my God, who's to blame? We need another day to see the light, a new way to stop this fight. Peace in the hood is on its way. And peace in the hood is here to stay, cause it's a new day. It's a new day. And peace in the hood is on its way, cause it's a new day. It's a new day. Peace in the hood. It's here to stay. I'm ready. Everybody can pretty much see what I got behind me is a Statue of Liberty. And I don't know how many people know the Statue of Liberty was given to Americans by the French because the French was one of the key allies in the American Revolution against the British. And I wanted to talk about, the American dream. We hear the American dream, and I remember, back in the day, shoot, I got me a Cadillac, you know what I mean, and a woman. I had the American dream, and I want to just before we begin, I want to just quote some things. This one here is from Samuel Adams. He said, "The American dream is well and alive. I'm pleased to report that the American dream is alive and well for the overwhelming majority of Americans. Also, the American dream," and I want to go back to the overwhelming majority of Americans. And I hate to go back to the racial thing, but what is the makeup of the majority of Americans? The American dream is alive for them. The American dream is the belief that anyone, regardless of where they're born or what class they were born into, can attain their own version of success in a society where upward mobility is possible for everyone. The American dream is achieved through sacrifice, risk-taking, hard work, rather than by chance. Now, those are some key words. Rather than by chance. So that means if you hit the lotto, some people might say you hit the American dream. For Black people, we talked about the 5,000 Black slaves that left America, went to Nova Scotia, and then ended up in Sierra Leone. They left it. They fought against the American colonists. Why? Because they wanted their freedom. They wasn't talking about they wanted the right to vote. They wanted their freedom. Okay? And now we have the Black patriots that stayed in America, decided they want to live in America, and they went for the American dream. They believe they can work hard, do what you got to do, pull yourself up by the bootstrap, and you can make it. The American dream. I'm going to pass the mic. I ain't going to go to Mashawn yet because I know we're going to talk about Clifford, the American dream. You heard about it when you was coming up, didn't you? What did you think it was?
Childhood thoughts and grown man thoughts different, but as a child, I thought America was the greatest country in the world. You know, I thought Americans could go anywhere in the world and be all right. As a child, I thought everybody loved us, and I thought America was about all love. As a kid, you know, we were saying the anthem and all that, singing, learning the American songs, all that stuff, the pledge and all that. But you know, the American dream is like what you said. It is a reality for a lot of people of a different persuasion, and it can be somewhat of reality to people with money. But I guess the American dream is really on the individual. Like that's kind of like well, we say American dream because America has certain rights, right? Like you have freedom of speech, and you have a freedom of religion, and you have all these certain freedoms you have that necessarily other countries don't necessarily have. Correct. So the American dream is I dream that I could be who I want to be without any penalty, right? That's the American dream. Yet, but when you try to be who you want to be, it's a penalty. Especially if who you want to be go against the American system or the American way of life. What they call going against the grain, or you're a rebel to things. It's not good for you here. You know, if you it'll go bad for you if you're not going with the get along gang, going on with what's going on, being participating in this system. So my American dream, I don't have no American dream no more. You know, my dream is to be able to take care of myself without having to ask for anything. That's the dream. You know, and my real dream is to get real freedom elsewhere. But I won't be judged just because I'm black or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really have no American dream. That's my dream.
I'm going to pass the mic to Reverend Shaw, but what you said was very important. I'm gonna pass the mic to Reverend Shaw. The American dream, Reverend Shaw. Is it alive for us? Or what did you think about it when you was a young man, the American dream?
I would imagine that I thought the American dream was having a car, having a home, having a family, not being broke. But that wasn't the American dream. That was a black man's dream as a young child. The America, as we know, and President Trump got in a lot of trouble for it when he said he wanted to make America great again. And many of us said, but it's never really been great for us because we weren't considered when he made the statement. We weren't considered when the word American dream came up. They have never considered us in this. So basically, we can have an American dream, but we are not the American dream. So that's why Dr. King say, I have a dream, because he had to come up with his own dream because he wasn't a part of the dream of America. So he had to create a dream that included his 4 little children and being able to play with white children and certain rights that we didn't seem to have. And so our dream was to be able to get along and get, with those around us. But as far as an American dream, we weren't considered in that. Neither was the Native American, the Asian, the Mexican. None of us was considered in that. It was our white brothers' idea of what an American dream is. It was just a dream for us. So that's kind of how I looked at it. We didn't have the American dream. We just had a dream. And, to the extent we had those things that white people had, we considered our dream coming true.
I'm reading something right now, and it said, before I get to Rashawn and Ron, it said, why is the American dream so attractive? And it says many migrants, people who come to America from other countries, come to America because they hope for a better life. America is attracted to immigrants because often there is more freedom to become rich or famous than in the country that they leave. We didn't never. And the other thing, an example of the American dream is when you come to America, build a business, become successful. An example of the American dream is doing better than your parents, owning your own home, and being financially free. Rashad, American dream. Got to unmute.
Yeah, man, the American dream is I think it's a mystical vision of something that was just kind of made to kind of get a lot of immigrants to kind of fluctuate to America in a sense, because there's really no American dream without contentment. The thing is, you can have the dream of the house, the white picket fence, the family, and a nice car, but eventually you're gonna want a truck. You're gonna want to get a boat to go behind that truck. The house gonna eventually get too small for you. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get a bigger house, and eventually that house gonna get too small for you. You're gonna want a plane, you know, and so you're gonna continue to stay on this continuous grind, ever chasing, always afraid to let go, you know, because the one thing that they don't have is that contentment anymore. There was time when you had that farm, you had your vegetables, you had your wife, and your kid would marry the neighbor's daughter that had the cow farm. So you already knew that was in place, that people could just relax because they kind of knew things were all kind of set in place. And now that kind of vision is impossible because the competitive ranking of having to compete and fail and fall right now is too much of a dog-eat-dog world for you to even begin to think that you can just be able to get to a place of relaxation without a simplicity of contentment.
The lady on one of our previous podcasts, when we talked about elections, said that in her country, everybody voted. Everybody voted in her country. And when she came to America, she was shocked that everybody didn't vote and how much apathy it was. This lady, though, she came to America to pursue the American dream. And she's getting it. Job opportunity, business opportunity, financial backing. You know, I know a lot of people that come here they come from different countries to get financial backing, get all the things they need. And some of them even act kind of funny. It's like they went through an orientation because they get to talking bad to black people, like they went to a class that taught them how to talk bad to us. But yeah. I know a lot of Armenians, I know a lot of Hispanics, I know a lot of Chinese, Japanese that have come to this country and is successful. And they'll be the first one to defend this country, even against us. When they have riots in the black community, they one of the first. Oh, there's something wrong with y'all. Got that. What's that? Drapetomania. You know what I mean?
You gotta understand. Yeah, you gotta understand this. You gotta understand it's heaven for them, though. You see, you know, the way we came to the country was a lot different from the way immigrants came to the country. So you got to understand, coming from where they come from, getting here, you know, you got to understand there's nowhere where we could go where they automatically give us food stamps off top just for being here. You know what I'm saying? Your leg messed up, you get disability. You know what I'm saying? The offers and stuff that they come here and get, and then when we act the fool, it's kind of like when you at work, how, you know, that black guy like, man, I don't have to take this, man. I ain't gonna make this for $5 an hour. And the other person like, man, I don't make this $5 an hour. What's wrong with you? You this and this, but they don't understand. You know, they haven't been through what we've been through here. They don't understand the need that we have to want to, you know, where our mindset is at and where their mindset is at in a different way. Because just a little taste is good for them, and we built that little taste. We the only people who really never ever experienced the greatness of America, and we built it, and that's what's sad about it. When you talk about how many of us died in the Vietnam War and those things, and when you look at that and then seeing, you know what I'm saying, that everybody can come here and just speak so greatly of America and how it has truly blessed them. And the only people who came is the people who came here by force, who were slaves and built it. And we the only ones who really can't even enjoy it. And that's the saddest part of it. And they get mad at us. They mad at us.
Difficult for people whose history is not one of being brought to this country forcefully. It's difficult, and they get here and see all these opportunities. They can't understand why we still something wrong with Ron. American dream. I know you love the American dream.
Yeah, I mean, personally, for me, our family came up out of Birmingham, Alabama, and so you know, our whole dream that I had growing up was just to live flamboyantly as a professional athlete, to be able to have financial freedom and to independently travel to where I wanted to go safely. Because where I grew up was we always had you know, the Klan riding through the streets at night, you know, in mob-like fashion. And if they caught a black male by themselves, you know, they would try to hang him or kill him. So I always had a dream of just being able to travel throughout the United States independently without the fear of encountering white mob Ku Klux Klan members, because that's where we grew up in. So, you know, my dream just to be a professional athlete, live flamboyantly, and be able to travel independently and unrestricted. So that's my American dream.
You know, Reverend Shaw pointed out something about Dr. Martin Luther King. That's and you just said something. We all have our own dreams. You know, we have our own dream. I think that's a good thing. You know, I really believe that we need to be dreaming. You know, some people have lost all kind of hope and everything, but the American dream, you know, because I'm really looking at these notes from the debate, and law and order was on the topic, health care, women's rights, the coronavirus, the trade deal with China, swing states. That's all I heard on the debate. And still everybody encouraging us to get to the polls. Like, what is we finna get up out of this? So, I'm looking back at those black patriots. At the time, they was fighting the British. They was fighting for freedom too. Some black folks fought with the British to get out of here. Some of them fought with the colonists, not so much to be part of the American government, but just had a freedom to go west, to go get some more land. I mean, it was plenty land in 1776. And another thing I wanted to talk about the American dream is taxes. When you get to talking about America and the country, jobs, all that, start thinking about taxes. This country went to war against British for taxation without representation. They didn't want to pay Britain no taxes. So when you hear Trump say only paying $750 of taxes, anybody in their right mind gonna try not to pay no taxes. Who wants to pay the government taxes? Who want to pay the mayor some taxes? Who want to pay the county legislator? Who want to pay all of them some taxes? They call our money welfare. They call it Social Security. It all comes out the same pool. They call their salary. They get the same tax dollars that we get. Ours is called welfare. Ours is called Social Security, disability. They get $150 and sometimes $200,000 sitting up there talking about they passing some legislation. So it's about taxes. You can't run no government without taxes. So the American dream is tied into taxes or not paying taxes, one or the other.
You know, America's dream for black folk is like getting to drive a car, but you can never own it.
Well, we all know so far the American dream for black folks is an American nightmare.
Yeah,
It's an American nightmare because we can't come here and get all that stuff that he just talked about. Okay, Kamala Harris, Obama, rather. They got a big paycheck. I seen his wife Michelle got on there, got the encouragement. They got a big paycheck for the rest of their life. Taxpayers' money. He ain't got to do nothing, but he draws taxpayer money, him and his wife and kids every week. Okay? It's about that money. And so, again, we can talk about going to the poll and voting. My question, what I just talked to my mama, she's 90-some years old. Are you finna go get the American dream? We going to the poll. I already voted. I voted yesterday. Turned mine in. But are we going to get the American dream? And I'm with Reverend Shaw. We need to start making some real deals with some people and quit waiting for them to come to us and go there and start making some deals with some people.
What did the Democrats say they're going to do for black folks?
You know what? I'm going to tell you. I listened to Biden talk. Mumble jumble. I call it mumble jumble joke. Every question they asked him, they dance around him.
Yeah.
They asked him a question. They said 60% of the country believe that Donald Trump is irresponsible. What do you think? To me, that was a yes or no answer.
Right.
That was a simple yes or no. He got to talking about 1942 and all kind of stuff. I don't think he ever answered that question. This is what Lester Holt. They be dancing around stuff.
1942.
I don't know what he was talking about. You go back and watch. My wife said she understood what he was talking about. I didn't hear nothing because that was a yes or no answer. If 60% of the country feel one way, what do you think? That was a yes or no answer there. You gonna argue with the 60%?
Sure.
Oh, I don't know. And all that crazy mess. We praying for President Trump. He ain't got nobody. Ain't nobody got no disease in 2 days. He run around saluting the stars and the helicopters. Come on, man. Playing Superman like Kryptonite didn't get him. Talking about everybody, come on, let's get this here. That man ain't got no coronavirus.
Might be
and the rest of them ain't got it. Why you don't see their doctors? Why ain't no doctors coming out there giving no reports on the staff and all the other people?
I ain't heard nothing about his wife.
Nothing. He ain't heard no doctor. He in the hospital 2 days. Her doctor don't come out nowhere and say nothing about her. Oh, she ain't got no doctor?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You know the man an actor. I don't believe he got nothing.
Yeah.
So, Bobby Buck is on you now. Close it on out. The American dream. Sound like a good dream to me. Yeah.
One thing, one of the things we got to remember, we got to be careful with our words because, see, it should be our American vision. See, a dream happens at night when you sleep, and a vision happens in the day when you awake. Right. And so it's like, if they used to say, all that comes to a sleeper is a dream. People would sleep late and stuff like that. So we gotta be careful because we be trying to get a dream, and the one thing about a dream, we sleep through it. So we gotta be careful.
And I think that's very important because we can't go through our life dreaming, and that's been one of the things that, like I love that I have a dream, and I still think having a dream is good, but basing it, we have to base ours in reality. You know what I mean? So the American dream, I think, has eluded us. But on the other token, I'm looking at, even the ones that make it. You look at a civil rights leader he just passed. We look at Kamala Harris. We look at Obama. Even when Obama was still in the White House as president, he was still just a nigga to white folks.
Yep.
He's still just a nigga.
I
don't think what office you meet, how high you go in this country, you still just a nigga to white.
When he was in office, they banded together to fight everything he tried to get passed. They said they weren't gonna pass shit. But the night he was elected, they had a meeting. So it's because he black. And no other reason. You know what I'm saying? They're not following no black man. They're not letting no black man lead them. And then Trump come in, and then everything that Obama did get done, he come in and try to destroy it all. Because that's what a black man did. And this is a white man's country. You understand what I'm saying? So, like I said about we drive in the car but don't own it, it's like you can fully participate in an American so-called dream or whatever. And Reverend Shaw said we need to have a vision. You need to have a vision of how to get out of this American nightmare or change it or whatever you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Because to keep going along in the dream, you're going to die in it. You're going to die trying to accomplish an American dream that's a farce, especially for black people. You better drive the car, you never better own it.
Yeah, we have to give people a certain degree of contentment in a sense. We got to make a certain standard of living because in a sense, a lot of the community effort, even when you talk about when I was growing up in the 80s and kids used to wear Jordans, people were shooting and killing kids just for Jordans, just for that different standard of living. And then right now you buy a pair of Jordans, you get the red ones. Oh, I got the red ones. And then that's thing you see on TV, the yellow ones coming out. You forget about the red ones now you want the yellow ones, And so there have to be a certain sense of contentment that we got to give to the people and give to families, and make the family structure really something that's on a high end. Because right now, when you look at the family, oh, you suck a nigga, you married, you this. So there's a lot of little work that needs to be done that we need to integrate so that when this dream comes in there, that the dream is not really set internally, but we got to look at naturally like the wild do it. Every animal sets up its plan, its goal for its child. You know what I mean? Whatever it does as it grows, whatever it builds up, is building that up and setting up a standard of living for what it's going to have for a child. You got to understand there are some birds that will kill one of the youngest bird because it know it's going to start it up and it can't feed it, so it can have one bird to eat. And some of the brothers, if it's not a plentiful food enough, it will kick the other bird out of the actual tent. And some hyenas will kill their brother and sister. So in hard times, these things happen just in nature. we don't need to get to this is what we're doing in a sense with our community, you know, killing and the shooting, the violence that's going on in our communities and stuff. So we need to really get the ideology of our dream and start setting a standard dream for our children and saying, what am I going to leave my children? And I think if we got to that point and stop as adults focusing on our goals and setting the tone for that, I think we can just be at a better place.
I agree with that. Go ahead. I think too, man, we really, as a people, even participating in the system, I think our hopes and aspirations for freedom, you know, somehow is getting mugged or lost, you know, because being free is one thing, and being a part of something is something else. You know, the reason why I had the Statue of Liberty behind it, because when I was reading on it, said that it was a gift from the French people to the United States, okay? And it was to be a symbol of democracy and freedom and justice. And see, I'm talking about democracy, freedom, and justice. They just say justice for us, freedom and justice. You know, and I think about black folks running away to be free, going here to be free, and even staying here, but still wanting some freedom. You know, you ain't even free to walk down the street without somebody pulling you over and maybe shooting you. You know, and I think that until we get back in touch with this desire for freedom, we're going to have a serious problem, you know, because we're going to be stuck in a box. You know, like slaves, really, stuck in a box, you know. Because I'll tell you, I listen to the debate, I listen to Kamala Harris, and I'm certain as an individual, she has achieved the American dream. Magic Johnson, they have achieved I think about Sammy Davis Jr. He still had to come through the back place. Achieved the American dream. I'm pretty sure Bill Cosby, and when the rappers came through making that money, Suge Knight, I bet you he figured he achieved the American dream.
Well, see, individually, you're allowed to achieve that American dream individually. It's when you begin to pass that American dream off into the rest of the world. You know, when you say, I'm going to take this and I'm going to start a franchise corporation with it, and now I'm going to build something bigger, that's when it becomes a sort of a problem. You have to ask yourself, what if Dre didn't want to sell Beat headphones? You know what I'm saying? You got to think of all the major companies that we did have. When these companies come out, we can't seem, like I said, there's no big corporation franchise company. For some reason, you know, these guys can invest into everything else except the community. You know, they can give money to all the big schools, but they can't give it back right there in the hood. You know, and it's so it's something in there that I'm trying to figure out and cut his heads off and see what that is that's stopping them from coming right back into the community and investing that into the inner cities. Because individually, people can reach that dream, but it's something about passing that dream on to the youth and to the next generation, making sure 1 million people are able to achieve that. Then for some reason it becomes a problem. Something happens when we get to the Tulsa, Oklahoma phase. It's very easy individually get to that billionaire phase, but when you try to build that Tulsa, Oklahoma, something comes into play then. And so that's what we need to figure out what's going on and find a niche to that, because that's the important part right there. That's the fact.
That's they don't want black people having their own nation.
Exactly. That's the point.
And when so they have certain rules in the industry. It's certain rules to why they can't do it. And when they ones that do it, they get punished. They either get put in jail or they get killed. So that's one of the main reasons in the industry they don't. Like Dr. Dre gave
UCLA. He was UCLA.
UCLA $70 million.
Yep, 70
He
million.
could have gave 70 historically black colleges $1 million. You know, he could have did that.
Compton College one. This Compton College could have gave Compton College one.
Yeah, he could have. That's my point is, instead of him going back into the black community and helping them in any way on any level, he didn't. He gave it back to something, to a corporation or an industry that didn't even need it. You know, UCLA, USC, they don't need it. But you know, you got Lane College, you got these little small black colleges that need it. And they say, well, why the alumni ain't giving back? The alumni struggling. They glad to get a degree. Now they working and struggling. They check the check. How they gonna give back to the college they love? When they check the check themselves. You know, all alumni don't get rich and be like Oprah and shit. And Oprah always giving the one college, Spelman, like that's the only black college in the world. You know, it's more colleges out there that need help. And these colleges are preparing young black people to achieve the so-called dream of success, whatever your dream is. But they can't. When they start doing that, look at Prince, he dead. Michael Jackson dead. R. Kelly in jail. When they start doing stuff like that, they ruin you one way or the other. So you can't depend on no industry. So once they get in the industry, they go crazy, and when they realize what the hell it is, what they done signed on to, they don't even understand how evil that industry is on the low and hidden dark. You know, you can't even mess with that. We have to band together. We have to come up with ways to make money, put it in a pot, and use that money to free ourselves, build a nation, whatever we're gonna do, whatever agenda we own, and decide to do it as a group. That's what we need to do. We need to be out there talking to the community, this show, or whatever. We just got to keep working. You know what I'm saying? Vote. Vote so you can talk about it. I know Trump said something for the black people. Well, Biden ain't said nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just putting it out there. I ain't saying who to vote for, but you look at what's going on. Kamala Harris said, I don't have nothing specifically for black people. I have something for all people, and black people will be affected. They all say that same stuff. They all say the same thing. And you look around year to year, and what is it?
When you go back to what you said about giving your money here, there, when I was in the party, I was talking to my grandmother about, this is like in 70, about her taking her money out of the bank and putting it into a black bank or something like that. Quit giving their money to the system, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like she told me, if it ain't broke, I ain't trying to fix it. You know what I mean? It's like churches. They got their money with certain banks. Maybe because they got property or whatever. You know what I mean? So I think, they don't have the real freedom to do what they want to do. Sometimes they don't have the freedom because they don't have the knowledge. If you don't have no knowledge, well, you're limiting the freedoms and options on what you want to do. Like Reverend Shaw said a long time ago, if you get rich, you can't tell me what to do with my money. You see what I'm saying? But I know if I have $40 million, I'm going to buy up all the houses, all the homeboys' houses. You ain't never get evicted no more. You know what I mean? I'll buy the projects up or something. But a lot of times when you get yourself in situations, you can't make decisions freely. And that's why I got back to the freedom. Because, like you said, all during the debate, I ain't hear nothing said that inspires me that this person gonna do anything for me even when they get in office. Okay, law and order, health care, race relations, women rights, okay, trade deal with China.
All this
black person.
Yeah, I don't care about none of that.
None of that.
You know, because law and order, that's against me. Healthcare ain't for me. Taxes, they taxing me. China trading, what they got to do with me? I don't care about none of that. What about free healthcare? What about changing some of these laws? What about providing better whatever in our community? You know, stuff like that. What about free education? You know what I'm saying? Help us out.
Reparations? I don't hear nothing about reparations.
Right, reparations. Reparate us. It's a law.
Well, you know, on this side, we got everything submitted on that side in Africa, in the African Union side, and we got our stuff submitted over here in the state side. So, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the work we talking about doing has already kind of been done on both sides in the sense, at least the information, the paperwork, in a lot of the major cities, that's going to be able to feed into a lot of the stuff that we're already putting together. So I don't see going within the next 7 to 8 days, everything going to just taking off to where there ain't no comeback for everything we trying to do. Because in a sense, it's like, you know, it ain't really no turning around. You know, we know what we have to be done, and we can't really sit back and wait for them to give us something or expect something in return. We can start the trade. We can commit that part and set that up in place. And when that comes into our way, when they do come and say, oh, you can't do this, that's when we can go for a fight and say, well, why we can't? Because we trying to do this and do this. But right now, everything we doing is legal. Nobody control us. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who made that deal, that they have the right to kidnap us and that we made this citizenship deal. I don't know what that is, but my mom saw my birth certificate, not me. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you can't hold me accountable for what my parents did and say that I'm tied to the citizenship, because you kind of forced my hand by making me fill out a birth certificate, because without a birth certificate, I can't get an ID or a social security card where I can go get employed or work. So in a sense, I have no choice but to become a citizen, even though I was kidnapped here. I didn't come here by force. I didn't come here by choice, asking to become an American citizen. So I need to be treated like the person I am, a free man that can travel the world at my freedom. You know what I mean? So we got to get the mindset set on that and look for sovereignty in 2032, because they're sitting here saying we're going to do this. We don't need you to do nothing for us, but just let us go by 2032. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to do no change in the laws. You ain't got to fix nothing in the police stations. You ain't got to do none of that work. All you got to do is set the plans up, let us start picking out our territories and setting that up and give us our sovereign cities and let us do our own thing. That's what we need. You know what I'm saying? All this talking about, oh, we can do this, we can do this, all that. You had 400 years to fix the problem. You have 400 years to fix the situation. You still invading on the Indians' territory. You still cutting and breaking their territory you want to, so you ain't even left them alone. So if you ain't even left them alone, what make them think that they're gonna leave us alone after some point in some time? You know what I'm saying? It's already tricky. What we have to say, you got to have a vacation home, because at some point, as we get to living here, they gonna come saying, oh, we want to put this through here, we want to do this. Y'all gonna always hinder, because for some reason it's like y'all can't live without fucking with us. You know what I'm saying? Y'all really just can't live without fucking with us, because if racism has never been on our side, we ain't never went to the white suburbs and start busting on people or doing all this and doing all that, man. We never did that. We'll go busting our own communities, but we never busting outside of those communities, bro. Why y'all continually want to press on us and press on our people like this and nonstop? And so it's like they thirst can never be quenched, man. We ain't even try to have you clench your thirst no more. You ain't got to separate or change nothing. Just let us go. And that's all we got to ask for, man. We ain't even got to ask for it. We just got to let them know we looking to be free. These are some of the things we need to start setting up, and we need to start getting our people involved into that part. So that's what we'll be pushing in the next 7 days as we get ready to move forward, now that the African Union and I have all that stuff submitted over to that side. You know, I won't be saying something I hear that they unfamiliar with. So all those connections and everything will be set in place, and we'll be good to go.
Well, you know, one thing on that, it's like, I love the Bible. I love all ancient scriptures, because, like Reverend Shaw, man, me and Reverend Shaw got a connection. There's always some meat to be learned. You know what I mean? There's always some information, knowledge to be gained. You know what I mean? And so when you look at the children, you know, Israel, when they was in Egypt, and they was, you know, Moses went there talking about let them go. Let them go. You know what I mean? You got to have a plan. You know what I mean? And what you said is right. We have a plan. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We have a plan. It don't make no difference who they put in the White House. It ain't gonna make no difference. You know what I mean? But I think it's just very important for our people who have been locked in that box. You know what I mean? And feeling that pressure, because I remember, I don't care if they were selling drugs or whatever they were doing back in the day. Everybody had that American dream. For some black men, it was just getting a white woman. American dream. The picket fence. You know what I mean? But I keep being reminded by all those people that helped black folks go back to Africa, helped them go to Nova Scotia. They told them, you will never, ever be accepted in this white society. That's not me. So when you hear, you know, people running for office, we already see, like you said, Obama reached the highest office in the land and couldn't do nothing. Can't get no higher than that. If he couldn't give us nothing, if he wasn't the Moses, okay, then we need to make another plan.
True change comes with conflict, OG. True change comes from conflict. Conflict.
Like I said, you know, certain seeds can't be cracked open unless they've been touched by fire. You know what I'm saying? Certain things just can't crack, or life can't be given unless it's touched by fire. So we got to touch it with fire. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we trying to do. We trying to give them that fire. This is what this podcast about right now, to put the fire under y'all out there. You know what I'm saying? You going to the polls. I already voted. But you better have another plan.
You know,
that better be your whole plan.
Yeah, because our thing is saying we got what? 2 more votes before 2032, 4 more years forward. So what, 2 more votes as far as candidacy as we set up place. So all these ones that's coming in need to be set up, and as we weaning our way out, and by 2032, we should have our first Independence Day, our celebration, and that day should mark the first day of our independence. And we should be ready to go and do everything we need to do in our states. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's
we got a lot of sovereign laws. Go ahead.
That's another thing, because right now, they got in the legislature, Senate, Congress, whatever, they try to push the voters, but nobody wants to tell black people that your vote is going to end in 2032. All y'all say, I ain't vote. Well, in 2032, you ain't going to have the right to vote.
You're going to be begging. You're going to be begging somebody to vote.
Well, whatever. I'm saying, your little 10-year-old son or daughter, when they get there, won't even have a right to vote.
Now
they need to understand what's going on. It ain't like, oh, America, the greatest country in the world. In a minute, you ain't gonna even have the right to vote.
Sound like persecution. And so say they don't ever pass. Say that whoever in charge say, "Nah, we ain't gonna give you the right to vote."
Come on.
Okay,
and then the pursuing years.
America, what are you gonna do on that day? What are you gonna do on that day? Black America, what are you gonna do on the day when they say you ain't got no more vote power? NAACP, Urban League, everybody, what are you gonna do on that day?
Well,
what plans do you have?
It ain't really what we gonna do on that day. It's more about what we gonna do today. It's like, first of all, we sitting here as a black group, as a people, who have not made the Democrats promise a damn thing, but we won't vote for the Republican.
Right.
See?
So say that.
Trump gave, oh, by the way, that brother, oh yeah, I told Bobby already, that brother that's running for, the Republican brother that's running against Newsom, I talked to him and we're gonna have him on the show. We just gotta figure out one day. But the thing is Trump gives $500 billion toward the black community. He gave $4 billion to historical black colleges. He gave $100 billion for something else, and we won't vote for him. But we're gonna vote for Biden. I'm not talking about us individually. I'm talking about as a group.
Yeah.
We're gonna vote for Biden, and he ain't gave us a nickel.
He gave us nothing.
Okay.
But
so the thing is, as long as we let them know that we will play the fool, they will treat us like a fool. And that's all it is. We can't see, it ain't the white man's fault we can't get ahead. Of course he worked against us. Of course he blew up Black Wall Street. Of course they gave us high-end loans and when we should have got low interest rates. Of course they didn't miseducated our children and not educated. Of course they brought drugs in our community. Of course they helped create the gang war. Of course, of course. The only problem is we had to be the executioners of our own people. Because they could give us the guns, but they couldn't make us shoot them. They could give us the drug, but they can't make us take them. They can put us in bad schools, but we can go home and do homework anyway and learn it. People have learned how to, if Frederick Douglass, who I'm named after, could come out of slavery and own his own newspaper, damn it, right on the heels of slavery, then we can do it today. But the biggest problem, what they have got us, is to get in their mindset and look at ourselves as a victim. And as long as we look at ourselves, and we all know the history, we all know what we've been through, we all know the suppression, we all know this stuff, but as long as we look at ourselves as a victim and won't get our ass up, we are going to be in trouble because we're depending subconsciously and overtly, we are depending on them to save us, if we want it or not. Because even our black leaders, rather, we go down there and we say what they won't let us do. The hell with it. Let me tell you something. I've written several novels. Now, white people can say what they want. They couldn't stop me from writing a novel. They can't stop me from going and getting it to publicists. They can't stop maybe I don't have the same opportunity, but there's always 2 or 3 publicists that will do something. There's nothing that stopped us from demanding while we have a chance, because there's more Mexicans in California than us. There's more whites than us. But at this brief period, we got a chance and we throwing it away, worrying about Donald Trump, instead of telling the Democratic Party, what did Muhammad Ali say when they told him to go to Vietnam? The people in Vietnam don't call me nigga. Well, the Democrats are calling us nigga. We see all of these Karens that's supposed to have been friends of Hillary Clinton and all that on TV calling police on people and carrying on. Look, the hell with them. It's about us. It is about the unions we do it. OG, you trying to create something and you're trying to bring us all in. I'm trying to create something to bring us all in. Brothers trying to get this with the guns and stuff. Bring us all in. Rashawn got a whole big program that's very detailed to bring us on. That's the way we got to think. Exactly. We got to get the masses to think like we leaders think. And once they buy into us, but it's too hard to buy in because Massa said. And that's what's killing us. Massa said.
But on that,
how y'all brothers doing?
I think the real good part about that, Pastor, at this point, is that those other folks.
Hey, how y'all brothers doing?
Who's that right there?
That's Clarence. How you doing, bro?
Clarence. We're gonna let you right on in, Clarence. Because
I'm just listening in, man. I've been listening in. I'm on the highway, so I just appreciate y'all brothers. I'm just listening, So go ahead on. And y'all
before I lose this thought, when I get back to that, the people we have here, we already know that we working together, and we gonna work together, and we gonna accomplish all the things we want. So right now, that's why I want to do the American Dream, because I want to chip away, and like we said, some of them undecided people out there, okay? Because the rest of them, we don't even want them joining up. Like we already know, that's when everything goes sour, when the wrong peoples get up in your mix. So there's 40 million black folks. We be satisfied, we get 5 million. You know what I mean? And from a marketing point of view, that's without a doubt, because it's I know you know a lot of positive people. I know everybody on here know a lot of positive people. Other people know positive people. So we straight. You know what I mean? But I wanted to do this because some people is like I was talking to my mother. She's 90-some years old. Me and her, well, she get mad about Trump. You know what I mean? But like I asked her, she finna go to the polls. She's 90-something years old. She votes Democrat. Simple as that. Coming out of Louisiana.
Ain't gonna change.
Ain't gonna change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But she's 90-something years old. And when you get to talking about all these things that we talk about, her head start hurting. You get to talk about some electoral college and all that kind of stuff, her head start hurting. So we got to go with the group we got and go with the young people. All the rest of them, if you 30 years old and you ain't got it together and you want to argue, fuss, and all that kind of stuff, or you think you're gonna sell drugs and make the American dream come alive, do some pimping, or whatever it is you think you finna do, go ahead and do that. Okay? You gonna rob some banks or whatever you think you finna do to get the American dream, go ahead and do that. But the other ones that want to take their talent and gifts and skills and build our own dream. Let's build our own dream. That's why I like that. Dr. Keith, I have a dream, okay? Let's quit, because that American dream that we have pursued, working hard, doing all that kind of stuff, cutthroating each other, stabbing each other in the back, doing everything you can do to get ahead, has turned into American nightmare. You want to be Tony Montana, Nino Brown, come on. A Scarface. Look at all the people in the rap industry that made money pursuing the American dream. Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, all of them pursuing the American dream. While they don't never turn around and collectively try to do something. Because anybody do something, I donated to that charity, this charity. If y'all don't do it collectively, it ain't going to impact us. Are y'all that stupid? Y'all politicians, actors, entertainers, they get the best little dress to go to the Academy Award and all that kind of stuff. Spend $10,000 on it and talk stuff too. We need to get our own dream. Bobby, I'm turning it back to y'all and passing the prayers out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's turn a dream into a vision. We can make a t-shirt, Pastor.
Man, look here. That's what we got to do. We gotta quit singing "We Shall Overcome," and it's time for us to come over. You know, it's like it's like I remember I had a woman. She said, "Pastor, God told me to be a minister, and I've been in Bible study for 20 years, and you think it's time for me?" I said, "You've been in Bible study 20 years. When you gonna graduate?" You know, it's like, come on. If he been calling you, come on. Quit. Yeah. Don't ask me. I ain't God. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, you're talking to God.
And look, that's what I'm saying. 150 community leaders could bring us $300 million, but we don't know how to leverage it. We don't trust who would manage it because we get in power and we trip. That's the inner thing. That ain't got nothing to do with white folk. He might have had it put in us, but it's time for us to look. The Democrats get in office, we lose our guns. We're gonna have mental health forced on it. You know, the Citizens Commission on Human Rights got all that information. They're gonna push mental health on us. They're gonna march our ass down to get the vaccines. I am more afraid of the rights and liberties they're going to take from us than I am of some proposed racist. Because see, a racist don't bother me because I don't give a damn about them. I don't need their opinion. I don't seek their respect. I don't care. But we get over here with these people who do this to us, and they take all of our rights in the name of health. They make our children study stuff that they shouldn't even know about till they grown. They
hold up, Pastor. Hold up, Pastor. We need you to pray us out, and then we need to continue this conversation privately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bobby. Pray us out, Bobby. Get it out.
Okay, let us bow our heads, everyone, in respect to Almighty God, whoever that may be for you. We pray, oh Father, that you elevate us at this time. We thank you for consistently let us use our wisdom to set a platform so that we can go out and help our people. Now, give us the spirit of action, oh Lord. Give us the spirit of persistence, oh Lord. Give us the spirit of not giving up and always moving forward. We do pray that we come out of our nightmares with a vision. We know that these dreams are only when we sleep, but they turn them into nightmares. Now we got to turn them into vision. With that, we pray to all of the saints, the saviors, and those who have been servants. We say it in the precious name of all of the great spiritual leaders. Amen.
Amen. Just stay on. Take it out, Bobby.
Amen.
It's a new day. It's a new day. Peace in the hood. It's on its way. It's a new day. It's a new day. Peace in the hood. It's here to stay. We gotta stop this violence. We gotta keep this peace. We gotta come together and do what's right, y'all. I put in work. I had no shame. At the time, it was part of the game. Now I see opportunity for you and me to have a unity. I look in your eyes every day. You're tired of this mess anyway. Children are dying, mothers are crying, while the politicians look the other way. We need another day to see the light, a new way. Stop the fight. Peace in the hood is on its way. Peace in the hood is here to stay, 'cause it's a new day. It's